Let me start with something most people don't want to admit: strong personalities aren't the problem. Your reaction to them is. Think about the last time you got into an argument with someone who was loud, intense, overwhelming, or completely convinced they were right. Maybe it was someone who talked over you, dismissed your point, or tried to dominate the conversation. In that moment, it probably felt like their energy dictated yours. They turned up their volume, so you felt pressured to turn up yours. They became sharp, so you became defensive. They charged forward, and you either charged back or shut down. And that right there is the moment where most people lose control, because they think the goal is to beat a strong personality. It's not. The goal is to not let them change who you are. See, strong personalities aren't necessarily bad. Many of them are passionate, confident, direct, honest, and deeply committed to what they believe. But when they argue from intensity instead of clarity, they become hard to handle. And that's where these strategies come in, not to overpower them, but to hold your ground without losing your cool, your voice, or your self-respect. So let's get into the mindset first. Your job is not to match their intensity. Your job is to protect your clarity. When someone tries to dominate a conversation, your nervous system reacts instantly. Your heart beats faster, your voice tightens, your thoughts start racing. You might feel the urge to interrupt, defend yourself, or say something you don't mean. But here's the truth: strong personalities expect you to react fast. They expect you to get emotional. They expect you to argue back impulsively, because that's how they maintain the upper hand. So the first strategy is simple but powerful: stay grounded, not triggered. When they push in, you pull back internally, not to escape the conversation, but to slow it down. When you stay calm, you break the rhythm they're trying to control. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you stay in charge of you. The moment you protect your internal state, you've already shifted the power. The second strategy is this: lead with clarity, not volume. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to raise their voice to be heard. Strong personalities don't respond to noise. They respond to certainty. You don't have to yell. You don't have to match their force. A steady, clear tone cuts deeper than any shout. The person who stays calm in a heated moment becomes the person in control of it. Here's something most people overlook: strong personalities don't respect long explanations. They respect clear boundaries. This is strategy number 3: set boundaries without apology. If someone is interrupting you, you don't say, "I'm sorry, but can you let me talk?" No, you say, "Hold on, I'm going to finish speaking." If someone is talking to you aggressively, you don't say, "I didn't mean to upset you," but you say, "I'm willing to continue this conversation, but only if we both keep it respectful." Your tone stays calm. Your words stay firm. Boundaries don't need emotion. They need consistency. Strategy number 4 is one of the most underrated tools in communication: ask precision questions. This is how you slow down someone who's trying to steamroll you. Questions shift the energy. Questions force clarity. Questions make intensity pause. For example, what exactly are you trying to say? What part do you disagree with? What do you need from me right now? You're making them think, not react. You're pulling the conversation out of chaos and into logic. Strong personalities can dominate a debate, but they can't dominate a question they haven't answered yet. And finally, strategy number 5, pause before you push back. People with intense personalities move fast. They overload the moment. They expect you to respond immediately. When you pause, even for 2 seconds, you break the pattern. You create space. Space is power in an argument, because it lets you step out of the emotional reaction and step into the logical response. And here's the thing: the pause is not weakness. The pause is control. It tells the other person, "I'm not reacting on your timeline. I'm responding on mine. Let me make something clear." Handling strong personalities isn't about avoiding conflict. It's about being the calmest voice in a room full of noise. It's about communicating in a way that doesn't sacrifice your self-respect. It's about knowing that confidence doesn't require aggression, and authority doesn't require volume. People with strong personalities aren't used to being met with calm firmness. They're used to people either fighting back wildly or folding completely. When you do neither, when you hold your line, keep your tone steady, ask the right questions, and set clear boundaries, the entire dynamic shifts. You're not trying to win the argument. You're trying to win your peace, your clarity, and your self-control. If another person's intensity can't knock you off balance, you've already won. And the more you practice these strategies, the more you'll notice something powerful. Strong personalities start responding to you differently. They soften. They slow down. They respect the firmness in your calm, not because you overpowered them, but because you didn't let them overpower you. That's the skill. That's the strategy. That's the kind of communication that turns conflict into understanding and arguments into conversations. When you're dealing with a strong personality, the very first battle isn't with them, it's with your own nervous system. The moment their tone sharpens, their expression tightens, or their words hit a little harder than expected, your body reacts instantly. Your chest gets tight, your thoughts speed up, your jaw clenches, and before you even realize it, your mind is preparing for emotional combat. This is exactly the moment where things go wrong because strong personalities aren't fueled by facts, logic, or calm reasoning. They're fueled by the emotional reaction they pull out of you. If they can get you to snap, stumble, defend, or chase their approval, the argument shifts into their territory. Staying grounded is not about being silent or weak, it's about refusing to let someone else's intensity decide the quality of your response. Staying grounded starts internally. It's noticing the trigger before it takes over. When someone comes at you with intensity, you don't mirror it, you observe it. You feel the rise in your chest, the heat in your face, the urge to interrupt. But instead of acting on it, you acknowledge it and hold your position. This is the part most people miss. Strong personalities push fast, and they push hard. They rely on pressure. They rely on speed. They rely on emotional momentum. The second you let that momentum sweep you up, the conversation is no longer in your hands. But when you stay grounded, you slow everything down, not for them, but for yourself. Because clarity doesn't exist in the middle of emotional chaos. You can't think clearly when your body believes it's under attack. Grounding yourself gives you the space to respond instead of react. One of the most powerful ways to stay grounded is remembering that intensity is not authority. Someone speaking louder or faster doesn't make their point more valid. Their confidence doesn't automatically make them correct. Strong personalities often use tone as a tool, a way to overwhelm, dominate, or intimidate without even realizing it. But that tool only works if you respond emotionally. When you stay steady, they lose leverage. Your calm exposes their intensity. Your presence slows their pace. Your stability makes them adjust to you instead of dragging you into their storm. Most arguments escalate because both people start playing the same emotional game. One raises the volume, the other follows. One becomes sarcastic, the other responds defensively. One interrupts, the other interrupts back. Staying grounded breaks that cycle completely. Grounding yourself is also an act of self-respect. It means you value your own peace more than the temporary satisfaction of firing back. It means you understand that winning an argument isn't about overpowering the other person. It's about not losing yourself in the process. Strong personalities often look for emotional cracks. They test reactions. They push boundaries. When you show that you can remain steady even when they turn up the heat, you communicate something incredibly powerful. I don't lose control just because you tried to take it. That level of calm doesn't make you passive. It makes you untouchable. Another part of staying grounded is separating the moment from your identity. When someone with a strong personality challenges you, criticizes you, or speaks sharply, your mind might try to take it personally. You might feel attacked or disrespected. But not every intense tone is an attack. Not every forceful statement is an insult. Many strong personalities communicate in a way that feels like confrontation when it's really just their default energy. Grounding yourself lets you decode the message instead of reacting to the delivery. You can respond to what's actually being said rather than the emotional noise around it. This is where real communication happens, in the space between their intensity and your clarity.
Staying grounded also means giving yourself permission to pause. The pause is crucial. It's a moment where your body resets, your mind catches up, and your reaction loses its grip. Strong personalities hate the pause because it forces them out of their rhythm. It makes them wait. It makes them reflect. It breaks their momentum. But it gives you everything: perspective, control, and time to choose the response you won't regret. A centered pause is more powerful than an emotional comeback, and it speaks louder than a raised voice ever will. Eventually, when you practice staying grounded long enough, something interesting starts to happen. The strong personality adjusts. They slow down, they listen, they soften, not because you match their force, but because your steadiness creates a different tone for the conversation. People don't calm down when you fight back. They calm down when they sense they're talking to someone who won't be moved by pressure, intensity, or emotional bait. Staying grounded isn't about changing them. It's about anchoring yourself so deeply that their storm can't pull you in. When you're in a conversation with someone who comes in loud, intense, or forceful, the instinctive reaction is to match their energy. Your voice rises without you even thinking about it. Your heart starts beating fast.